So, Farron, there's more reporting coming out that the Trump administration is looking at investigating additional media sources, this time because they compared Don Jr. to Hunter Biden.
And I think that's actually a perfect analogy here because Don Jr. and Eric, let's not leave out that little weirdo, they're doing everything that Republicans accused Hunter Biden of doing for years. They are out there crisscrossing the globe, influence peddling based on their last name because daddy is president. Eric Trump recently did that crypto conference in the Middle East. And it was after that they got the first $2 billion investment into their World Liberty Financial. A couple weeks after that, UAE decided, hey, we'll put in $2 billion as well. So they got $4 billion off Eric Trump going to the Middle East and saying, hey, do this, my daddy's president, give us money, which for the record, not illegal. It's unethical, sure, it's immoral, but it's not illegal. But that is exactly what they accused Hunter Biden of doing. Don Jr., same scenario. He is crisscrossing the planet. He is using the dad's name, his name, of course, to get all of these business deals and to put money in his pocket, into dad's pocket, into everybody's pockets named Trump. And they got furious because Politico and Business Insider recently ran a story saying, hey, Don Jr. is the new Hunter Biden, which is a very accurate statement. And now the White House, pissed off, says, you know what? Maybe we need to launch criminal investigations for illegal foreign influence peddling into these outlets because they're owned by a German company.
Well, I think the biggest difference is one father is compassionate and the other is complicit. But I also, we're doing our research for this story. Don Jr. just founded a $500,000 fee private club called the Executive Branch. That's the name of the club in D.C., by the way, the Executive Branch. And at least a half dozen of Donald Trump's administration, as well as wealthy CEO, tech founders, and policy experts, are the people who are joining this private club in D.C. at $500,000 a pop, plus there's other fees, and that's just the admission fee.
So that is influence peddling. That is influence peddling at its finest, something that Hunter Biden never did. The worst thing that Hunter Biden did that we know of course, was when he was in the business meeting and then he called his dad on the phone. Not to say, Dad, make them make the deal. It was just to remind people, hey, this is who my dad is. Dad asked, how you doing, son? I love you very much. And that was basically the end of it. But this is borderline, okay, we may be running afoul of the law at this point. If it is just, hey, give me money because of my last name, again, totally unethical, but legal. You can do that. There is no problem in this country or in other countries, really, of going around and saying, hey, you should give me a business investment because you know what family I'm from. We don't like it, but that's how a lot of the world works. And again, you know this, former prosecutor, that's not something you can take and say, look, this person did something illegal, unless it does tie in to somebody with power. And they say, go do this. At that point, you've got illegality. We know Biden didn't ever do that. But does Trump daddy really stay out of any of these business deals? I mean, I would be shocked if he did stay out. So if a good prosecutor, somebody, investigator, which we don't have in the government today, were to look into this, I'm sure we could probably get him on something, but it's not going to happen.
When we look at the interrelatedness between Don Jr. and the current White House, even though he doesn't hold an official position, he was the one that was flown over to Greenland first to wave the flag, and he paid the homeless people to put on MAGA hats. But also, if you go to the Secretary of State's website, the United States Secretary of State website has a press release called Secretary of State Marco Rubio with Donald Jr. of Triggered with Don Jr. And his entire interview with the Secretary of State and the son's president, and this is sandwiched between the Iranian nuclear program and the arrest of Paul Chambers in Thailand at that time. So clearly there's tit for tat, but one of the weird things that I had forgotten about with Don Jr. is the hunting scandals. And I think most of our viewers are aware that in February of this year, it broke that he may have killed an endangered duck in Italy outside of Venice recently. That has not been resolved. But when you look at some of his other hunting scandals, you start to see a pattern with this man. For instance, there was a report that came out of Mongolia where Don Jr. during the first term went there, killed a very rare ram, then got a permit to kill the ram after he left from the president of Mongolia, after he met with the president of Mongolia to kill the ram, again, to be clear that he had already killed. And then recently, as last year, a Utah hunting guide went to federal prison for doing a canned hunt. And what a canned hunt is when you bait an animal or you fence in an animal and then you bring in somebody else to kill it. So it's like killing a petting zoo animal. So in this particular case, Donald Trump Jr. was the victim, according to the charging documents by the Department of Natural Resources from Utah. They shot a bear over pastries. And they had baited a bear up with like Danishes. Donald Trump Jr. came in and shot the bear. That was his hunt. This is this big sportsman. And I think it's a perfect analogy for his life. His entire life has been a canned hunt.
I think that is a perfect analogy for what's happening here. And to be honest, with the Hunter Biden comparison, it's not even fair at this point. Hunter Biden did some unethical, immoral things, likely illegal things not related to business dealings, but it's nothing compared to just the downright everyday awfulness that we see from Don Jr. here. He is on a whole new level, so it's not fair to Hunter Biden to compare these two guys together. Welcome to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel. I am Farron Cousins, the host of Ring of Fire here on YouTube. I don't know if this is your first time here or maybe you're somebody who comes here every single day. But either way, let me tell you what's going on. Ring of Fire was actually started in the year 2004 by none other than our own America's lawyer, Mike Papantonio. And over the last 20 plus years, Ring of Fire has gone from being a 1-hour weekend radio program on Air America through a series of changes. Go Left TV, which we started back in 2007. We've been on the Young Turks network, and of course, this very YouTube channel here that started, obviously, as they all do, with no subscribers, and we've now ballooned to well over 1 million as we go on our way to that 2 million mark. So again, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. Take a few minutes, look around. We have content that actually goes back 20 years. So there's lots to see, there's lots to do, and trust me, with the next 4 years of Donald Trump getting back in office, we will be here every day, every single day with fresh content for you to keep you informed about what's happening and, of course, to warn you of the potential dangers that Donald Trump poses as we approach his second term.